Isekai.
The Rebirth of the Malicious Empress of Military Lineage. Chapter 76, Returning Banquet. 3 days later, the imperial family held a returning banquet, and hundreds of civil and military officials were attending. Even though Emperor Wenhua mentioned that it was a celebration for the monarch and officials, everyone was well aware that this returning banquet was the emperor's way of celebrating Shenzin's meritorious services. The Shen family held huge influencing power in their hands, and with such valiant military leaders like Shenzin and Shen Kaiyu, if one used them well, it would be a good sword to defend Mingqi. If one did not use them well, they could threaten the person who was sitting on that chair at any time. For the Shen family, the imperial family of Mingqi depended heavily on defenses, but, when the foreign lands were unclear, the Shen family was at least safe. As long as the Shen family does not enter the muddy waters of the fight for the heir, the imperial family would not take any action against the Shen family within these 10 years. This was something that those people in court that had brains could see. But, previously Shen Miao was in love with Prince Ding, which made others think that if Shenzin were to marry his daughter to Fu Ziyu, the position of the Shen family in court would be at a knife edge. But afterward, Shen Miao's interest in Fu Ziyu gradually faded, and the Shen family need not be caught up in the whirlwind of the fight for the heir. Thus they were safe and sound. Within those next 10 years, the reputation of the formidable Grand General in Din capital could deter a lot of people. Early in the morning, Lu Zuyan came over to take a look at Shen Miao. In the past few days, Lu Zuyan and Shenzin were investigating the events in the Shen residence, but these matters were covered up very well, and even the small trivial matters could not be discovered. But, despite this, Shenzin and his wife felt a lot strange and alienated from old Shen Furen and the other 2 households. Shen Miao did not tell Shenzin and his wife about the matter of Shen Qing losing her innocence, and Ren Wanyun and Chen Rikayu couldn't say it out of their own accord. Even the excuse for Gui Momo's death was done anyhow. It was said that her hands and feet were unclean, aka steals stuff, and she was thrown out of the house. Ren Wanyun thought that Shen Miao would have told the truth to them, but who knew that Shen Miao also used her excuse? Ren Wanyun thus believed that Shen Miao would not make any complaints to Shenzin and his wife about any concerns, and so became even more fearless than before. There are 2 little hairpins in young lady's jewelry box. Beilu styled Shen Miao's hair into a long bun. Now that Shen Miao was slimmer, she lost her young appearance, and was not compatible anymore with the kind of looks that she had previously used. Moreover, today she needed to enter the palace, so it would probably be best to dress up more dignified. However, previously Shen Miao's jewelry was bought by Ren Wanyun, and most of them were gold, and now this jewelry was used to buy Yan Mai and Shui Bai in Sanfuban, and for Mo King to make arrangements with physician Chen, and hence was pawned off and spent. Now those jewelry boxes were empty. Did not Master carry the rewards that His Majesty bestowed yesterday? Xuanzhong was struck by a brainwave. Why not let young lady pick something from there? The rewards from the palace are good, forget it. Shen Miao rejected it. Those things from the palace, which one of it was not stained by blood? Now, she was not willing to wear those things on her body, as if they could infect her, and made her remember all those tragic years. She thought about it, and opened a jewelry box, and picked a hairpin from one of the layers. This hairpin is really beautiful. Beilu was pleasantly surprised. When did young lady have such a hairpin? Was it Furen who gifted it? Shen Miao picked up the hairpin, and placed it in front of her to carefully inspect it. This was the hairpin that Zi Jingxing exchanged after picking the real begonia from her head, during the academy examinations in the middle of the plum blossoms forest. If it was not Beilu mentioning the matter, she would have thrown it to the back of her head. The hairpin was made of jade, from the light to dark. When it reached the part with the flower, the entire jade was sparkling with a reddish-purple color. The craftsman who did the carving was very talented, as the petal of the begonia was in full bloom, and there was a feeling of a flourishing meaning. When one touches it, there was a cool and moist texture, obviously from the finest grade of jade. For such a jade begonia hairpin, one fears that it was valued higher than 1,000 gold. Previously Shen Miao saw a lot of good stuff in the palace, so she could naturally see that this hairpin was out of the ordinary. As such, she was even more unexpectedly surprised at Zi Jingxing to be so generous, as no matter how rich the residence of the Marquis of Linen, one would not be able to squander at such a level. Seeing Shen Miao lost in thoughts, Beilu was afraid of holding up the time, and reminded, "Young lady, this hairpin looks good. This servant will put it on for you." Only then Shen Miao recovered herself, and went accordingly with Beilu's wish. Finally, Xuanzhong put a little rouge on the cheeks before it was considered finished. Guyu walked over with a lotus blue rabbit fur cloak, and put it on her before smiling. "Young lady looks very good. Furan will like it when she sees this." Outside the door, Lu Zuyan and Xin Xin were waiting, as Shen Kaiyu ripped the leaves apart as he said, "Mother, why not let younger sister go to the chests of rewards for clothes and jewelry?" "What do you know?" Lu Zuyin said in a bad mood. "It is always bestowing bolts of materials. One does not see clothes being bestowed. Even if there were clothes, who would know if those ladyships and concubines had worn them before? I would not dare to let Zhao Zhao wear them. As for jewelry, you might as well forget about it. Zhao Zhao will wear whatever she likes and desires. It is better not to intervene." Shen Miao had all along liked wearing tacky clothes, and this point made Lu Zuyan's head ache. No matter how much Lu Zuyan persuaded, Shen Miao was unable to abandon her love of gold and silver jewelry, and after a long period, Lu Zuyan gotten used to the look. Lu Zuyan was born in a family with military lineage, and even though she was fiercely beautiful, her dressing went towards the heroic style, and had some vibe of a heroine. Shen Kaiyu stuck his tongue out, and softly spoke, "If younger sister wears gold, and glittering again this time." He hardly finished his words when he heard the squeaking sound of the door being pushed open. "Younger sister, younger sister." Shen Kaiyu opened his mouth, and stared foolishly at Shen Miao speechlessly. The young female was wearing a purple jaded silk robe, with a rabbit fur cloak over it. The velvet rabbit fur covered her neck fully, making her small face look like it was the size of only a palm. Her complexion was already fair, so, when she wore dark colors like lotus blue, it would not appear dull, but looked extremely distinguished. The white straight teeth were like embracing the wind, and the lovely gestures from the young female, it make her more attractive due to her calm and quiet distinguished posture, as every single movement had a touch of prestige to it. Lu Zuyan and Shenzhen looked at her blankly. For a brief moment, they seemed to have seen past the young female, and were now staring at the Empress of the Throne with that noble air in the palace that even surpassed the golden crown. It was precise because Shen Miao had always been wearing gold and silver that now when she was dressed simpler, she had an extravagant air. and that kind of calm temperament was something that they had not seen before. Lu Zuyan unconsciously pats her chest because she was born in the northwestern region of the desert, and only came to the Ding capital after she married Shen Xin. She was mocked for being uncouth, vulgar, and lacking etiquette. Lu Zuyan herself did secretly invited Momo over to learn, but, no matter how much she learned, she was unable to portray the kind of elegance that was in one's bones, so she gave up. Now, her daughter looked more noble and dignified than any one of the daughters from Ding capital noble families. How could she not be happy and surprised? Ha 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 ha. It was Shen Xin that first broke the silence. He raised his head and laughed out loud several times. When he looked back at Shen Miao again, there were pride and happiness in his eyes. Shen family has a fully grown daughter. My Zhao Zhao is now also a great beauty. The words he uses were extremely coarse, which provoked a fierce stare from Lu Zuyan. When she turned her head, she saw the few guards that Shen Qi brought back from the army were also staring blankly at Shen Miao. She could not help but felt a trace of pride before she said, "Never mind, we will head to the horse carriage first. It would not be good to be late." After finishing, she pulled Shen Miao along and talked to her intimately. Shen Miao was not used to be treated as a little child like this, but paused when she saw Shen Xin's and Shen Kaiyu's pampering look in the eyes of her parents and older brother. She was still that Shen Zhao Zhao. Lu Zuyan noticed the begonia hairpin in her hair, and said with a smile, "Zhao Zhao's hairpin looks good. Did you pick it?" Shen Miao vaguely responded, and intended to walk towards the door, but saw the two carriages stopped there. Shen Gui and Shen Wand were standing outside, and when they saw Shen Miao, an entourage walking over, their gaze seemed somewhat unnatural. These days, Shen Xin did not give them any good attitude. No matter how much they explained, he would not even show an expression of hearing. Even the daily greeting to old Shen Furen, Lu Zuyan only did it vaguely, like she was doing routine work, which almost angered old Shen Furen till she fainted. Eldest brother Shen Wan was much more smooth as he greeted Shen Xin with a smile. Shen Xin made a non-verbal grunt with his nose, and walked to the side of his horse carriage before speaking towards Shen Miao. "Furen and Zhao Zhao, both of you go in first." Shen Xin and Shen Kaiyu did not have the habit of riding a carriage, so they would ride their horses along with the carriage. To be snubbed like that, Shen Gui's and Shen Wan's faces were not looking good, and there was a trace of sullenness in Shen Gui's eyes. One of the two carriages' curtain raised, and Shen Yu's and Shen Rikaiyu's faces appeared. Shen Yu softly said, "Does fifth younger sister want to sit with us in the carriage? This horse carriage is big enough, and it is even enough for eldest Shen to come." "Not needed," Lu Zuyan coldly said. "One will have peace of mind when one is sitting in one's carriage." Shen Miao wanted to applaud Lu Zuyan in her heart. Previously there was no discord between Lu Zuyan and the two households, and she had a refreshing personality, and treated others warmly and sincerely, thus no one saw this cutting and harsh side of her. One needs to know that when Lu Zuyan was on the battlefield, she would be merciless in the face of the enemies, so no matter how much goodwill Chen Ryukaiyu and Shen Yu showed, it was useless against her. In the other carriage, Shen King and Ren Wanyun also heard the commotion outside. Shen King's face was still somewhat pale, but she was clutching Ren Wanyun's hands tightly. Unconsciously she used too much strength, and made Ren Wanyun cry out. When Shen King let go of her hand, There were fingernail marks on Ren Wanyun's wrists. Ren Wanyun, however, did not mind the scratches on her hands. She pulled Shen Qing to her embrace, and felt the slight trembling of Shen Qing's body. King Ren Wanyun quietly comforted. "I must kill her," Shen Qing said in clenched teeth. Her sanity had gradually restored, and also recalled the terrible experience in Wolong Temple. All of it was thanks to Shen Miao, and the most horrid thing was that she was already pregnant, and the fetus could not be aborted, else she would be unable to be a mother in her entire life. Thinking of all the suffering she had to go through, Shen Qing wanted Shen Miao to also feel the pain and torture she went through. No, it should be that Shen Miao must suffer 10 times more pain. "Mother will take revenge for you." Ren Wanyun's heart felt as though a knife was twisted in it, and she hated that she was unable to turn into a wolf to bite off Shen Miao's throat. Shen Qing's cry was like a knife stab in her heart, and when she faced Shen Qing, she would always remember that night. She was just next door, but chose to watch with folded arms. "I will take revenge for King Ren Wanyun murmured. In another carriage, Shen Yu and Chen Ruokaiyu sat face to face. Shen Yu was still somewhat unhappy with being rebuked by Lu Zuyan. She had long not looked up to Lu Zuyan kind of vulgar military people, and now to be mocked by that type of coarse people, she now had a stomach full of anger. Chen Ruokaiyu slightly frowned. "I have told you so many times that you need not pay attention to this kind of people. Why bother to lose your bearing because of her?" "Mother, I just dislike it." Shen Yu looked at her palms. "In the past, Shen Miao was so respectful to us, but, now that eldest Bo's entire family returned, she put up such an arrogant air. A dog threatens based on its master's power. Is not she doing it on purpose for us to see?" In her words, it also revealed jealousy that she was not even aware of. However, Chen Ruokaiyu caught that jealousy. She looked at her slender and elegant daughter before sighing. "I had taught you before to keep one's calm no matter what happens. It seems that you are still young, impatient, and act too prematurely." After pausing, Chen Ruokaiyu continued speaking. "You need not need to take Shen Miao into great importance. Now that first and second household is in a deadlock situation, and Shen Miao had offended your second Shen, so your second Shen will make her stand." When Shen Yu heard this, she looked at Chen Ruokaiyu, but, these days, second Shen did not do anything to Shen Miao. Chen Ruokaiyu slightly hesitated. Indeed, it had been a long time since Ren Wanyun had dealt with Shen Miao, but, after so much time, Ren Wanyun still was unable to gain any benefits. She tried to steal a chicken only to end up losing the rice used to lure it, and has made several mistakes. Now she even let Shen Miao successfully wait for Shinzin's return. It would be alright if it was others, as Ren Wanyun was smart, and had sophisticated means to clean up the entire inner courtyard of concubines, but she was unable to even fight with a little girl. This was somewhat abnormal. After a moment, Chen Ruokaiyu hid the surprise in her heart, and said, "It is exactly because your second Shen had not been successful all this time. Your second Shen's temperament is now so close to rage that when she deals with her the next time, she would definitely take risks, and even put in all her energy and effort. As such, even with your eldest Bo's protection, one is afraid that Shen Miao will be unable to escape unscathed." Shen Yu was muddle-headed after listening to this, but seemed to understand something as she said, "As such, we only need to care about sitting down and watching a good show." "Exactly," Chen Ruokaiyu said. "This is what I want to teach you." In the inner courtyard, if it is possible not to take action, Do not take action. If one can make use of other things to achieve one's goals, then never personally take action. If exploited correctly, without the need to spend any energy, one can benefit greatly from it. Thanking mother for the lesson. Shen Yu sat up straight. I am reminded of it. They were chatting happily, but they did not know that Lu Zuyan's carriage had long thrown them far away. Shen Kaiyu and Shen Xin rode the horses, and during the entire journey, the commoners who recognized them all cast admiring and respectful eyes at them. The reputation of the formidable great general had long since spread out widely throughout the common folks. In the carriage, Lu Zuyan kept looking at Shen Miao, and smiled without restraint. Even though Shen Miao was calm and collected, she felt weird being smiled at by Lu Zuyan. Zhao now looks very pretty. Lu Zuyan lamented, after not seeing for a year. You have grown up to be a lady. In this entire Ding capital, one is afraid that there is no one prettier than you. Lu Zuyan's words had all along been somewhat strong, and if these words were heard by others, she would be a laughingstock. But parents naturally saw their daughter as the best, and with the dynamic character of Lu Zuyan, she saw that Shen Miao was instead calm with an air of nobility. People would always think highly of things that one did not have, so it was natural that Lu Zuyan started to love this daughter, who was suddenly willing to be closer to them even more, like precious stones and jewelry. Shen Miao smiled lightly. The only family would feel proud of her. A so-called idiot. Yesterday night I have discussed with your father. Lu Zuyan turned her head. Previously you mentioned letting your father staying in the capital for half a year more. It was a good idea. I and your father are not in the residence most of the year, so it is better to accompany you more often. Today when His Majesty asks, your father will request that from His Majesty. Hearing that, Shen Miao could not help but be surprised for a moment. She believed that Shen Xin at the end would listen to her words, but she did not expect it to be this fast, because she has time to respond. Lu Zuyan had already hugged her, and smiled. It just so happens that in this half a year, I can also watch Zhao Zhao grow up. Lu Zuyan had an impressive vicious reputation in front of her enemies, but, in front of Shen Miao, she was very loving. If her old opponents were to see this, they would be so stunned that their front teeth would fall. Thanking mother. Shen Miao clung onto Lu Zuyan as she softly said, today this evening banquet was not a so-called celebration banquet at all. In it, there would be extreme danger, and one was like playing chess, trying to get the opponent's army. After setting the opening game, and buried the pieces appropriately, one only needs to wait till the moment the other side falls into the trap. Of course, for her, the most important thing was that she finally returned to the place that imprisoned her previous entire life, buried her children and loved ones, and was filled with enemies and massacres. The Imperial Palace, Emperor Wenhu, Fu family, and those old friends in the Deep Palace, to once meet again. It would not yet be known to whom the deer would fall to, who will emerge victor. Her lips slightly hooked up, and her clear eyes were so deep like a whirlpool was in them, and gradually set off a dark storm. Chapter 76, Returning Banquet. Part 3. The Imperial Palace was majestic and imposing. The glazed roof tiles and vermilion columns were like the golden dragon entrenching itself, and the phoenix dancing in a whirl. It was golden bright, shining, and dazzling, but also cold, lonely, and sorrowful. Brightness was always the appearance, and just like the fertile soil under the flower bushes, there were a countless number of bones that were buried deep in the palace. There were numerous young beauties, but, in the end, they all became bones. This palace looked so beautiful, but it was also very dangerous. In the garden, a palace maid and a eunuch were watering plants. All these boring and tedious tasks were most likely handled by the eunuchs and palace maids that newly entered. Both of them looked 16 to 17, and were rather tender-looking. The young palace maid said, "There are a lot of people who came over to the front hall. If I did not make that mistake, and was demoted because of it, I would have been waiting for those noble people in the front hall." One would know that during the yearly returning banquet, just the money that will be rewarded can be used for the entire year. The returning banquet. The little eunuch had an expression of looking forward to it. Would there be many rewards that are awesome? Look at your lack of exposure. The palace maid's mouth twitched up, truly ignorant and ill-informed. His Majesty is holding the returning banquet for the formidable great general, and purposely arranged a dinner banquet for the officials. Those who were invited are all high-ranking officials, and female guests, and of course, it is extravagant. If you wait for a few more years, with good luck, maybe there will be a chance for you to know. Those noble people's monetary rewards are all in ingots. Ingots? The young eunuch exclaimed, and enviously said, "That formidable great general has such a great face that His Majesty was to specially hold a dinner banquet for him." One presumes there would be unlimited limelight. What is the point of having limelight? That palace maid had a tone of disdain. To have such an idiotic daughter, it is already good that one's face was not all lost. What kind of limelight was still wanted? An idiotic daughter? The young eunuch asked. The daughter of the formidable great general? You do not know about this. The palace maid mysteriously said, that General Shen is a brilliant god of war. His Shen Furen is also considered a warrior heroine, and the young Deputy General Shen is also brave, and good at fighting. But, the formidable great general's daughter is an out-and-out idiot. Not to say she did not know the 4 scholarly arts. She also likes wearing gold and silver, which is so tacky. In every returning banquet, she always makes a fool of herself when General Shen brings her. In last year's returning banquet, I was serving, and she does not even know the basic etiquette, and rolled down the stairs when she stepped on her dress. Those young ladies and Furens love to mock and laugh at her. Even with the Shen family's protection, everyone all looked down on that Shen young lady. So since it is so, the young eunuch sighed sadly, it does not live up to the reputation of the Shen family. Is not it so? That palace maid continued speaking. She is regarded as the faulty stroke in the painting of the Shen family. Unexpectedly, her 2 Tangjis are much more outstanding than her. General Shen's reputation was thrown away by her. Previously, this young lady Shen was so crazy in love with His Highness Prince Ding that this was spread out like wildfire, and became common knowledge to all. A vulgar female. That young eunuch also had an expression of disgust on his face. That palace maid often stayed in the palace, unlike those official Furens or young ladies that could leave the palace, so she only knew matters that happened in the palace. As for the incident of Shen Miao purging her infamous reputation during the academy examinations, she did not know anything at all. Just as they were talking, they saw the approaching people, and both of them quickly looked down, and worked hard at their jobs, not daring to speak. But, they heard the approaching person walking towards them, and said with a pointed voice, "New here?" Replying Gao Gong Gong, "It is exactly so." Someone at the side answered. The young eunuch courageously raised his head, and took a glance. He only saw 3 people standing in front. One had the uniform of a head eunuch, and the rest had the uniforms of a second-rank eunuch. The one who was called Gao Gonggong was the one who was dressed in the head eunuch uniform. Gao Gonggong swept a glance at both of them, and his eyes fell onto the young eunuch, asking, "What is the name?" "This servant is Zhao Lizi." The young eunuch was quick-witted as he respectfully replied, "Him then." Gao Gonggong said to the person beside him, "There is a shortage for one to hold the jug in the front hall." Seeing that he has clever looks, most likely he would be able to enter the noble people's eyes. "Put him into it." Yes, Zhao Lizi was also excited. As such, according to what the palace maid had said, he was able to get a lot of monetary rewards, and if he was favorable in any master's eyes, he may also have some good fortune in the future. In this imperial palace, everyone was racking their brains to climb up. Even the lowest level of servants would also dream of flying up to the higher branches overnight. There were already many Furens and young ladies that have arrived at the front of the hall. Other than those who had some relationships with the concubines in the palaces, and were invited to speak with the various ladyships at the back, most of the female guests were sitting outside to chat. "Why has Shen Furen and General Shen not yet arrive?" A Furen with high cheekbones laughed. "The main roles today are them. Was it that they deliberately come late?" Shen Furen wants to tuck her daughter, and not let others see, thus deliberately hide in her pocket. Another round-faced Furen also laughed, but her words and tone of voice were filled with ridicule. Shenzhen was a formidable great general who had accumulated numerous meritorious services, did not have concubines, and was capable. He also treated Lu Zuyan well, and was faithful. As compared to all the noble Furens present, which families did not have a bunch of concubines, and the numerous amount of issues that one need to worry about, they were naturally filled with jealousy of Lu Zuyan, as she had such a good life of having a husband's love, and a capable son. The most favorite thing that females liked to do was comparisons. The more Lu Zuyan was fortunate, the more the other Furens would look as they turned red, infuriated in jealousy, and could not wait for Lu Zuyan to also meet with some unfortunate things. Thus Shen Miao's appearance became the only thing that could be used to strike at Lu Zuyan. Shen Miao was stupid, had no talent, did not look good, and also made a fool of herself in the palace. Every year at this time, it was the happiest time for these Furens. They were able to see Shenzhen and his wife humiliated because of this daughter, which was as if they had to gain benefits from it. Do not know what kind of clothes fifth young lady Shen would wear this year. Yi Peilan had a ridiculing smile on her face. Last year her clothes that had golden leaves pasted on was extremely good, and matched with her golden jewelry, which was considered as very noble. Could it be silver leaves this year? Those words set off echoing words from the young ladies around, and words of mockery could be heard incessantly. Just at this time, out of thin air, there was a crisp female voice, "Everyone must not say such words." Now the fifth young lady Shen is considered as gaining General Shen's teachings. One has to know that during the academy examinations, she demonstrate her archery technique, that even the young master of the Kai family had no way of defeating it. If she is not happy, what if she were to deliberately shoot at you all? Once those words were spoken, the crowd suddenly grew silent. There were many Furens and young ladies that were present in the academy examinations, and they had witnessed Shen Miao's fierceness. Those words made them involuntarily shudder in their heart. Shen Miao did not even take Kailin to heart. If one were to angered her, what were they to do if she shoots an arrow over? The person who said those words was Feng Anning. When she just finished speaking, she was glared at by Feng Furen. "It is not fun to offend so many Furens." Feng Ning wrinkled her nose unhappily as she was not used to seeing these people speaking bad behind Shen Zin's back, but dare not even fart in front of him at all, and even quickly go forward to give their greetings. What was so just and honorable in talking bad about one's daughter behind their back? Before the awkward atmosphere dissipated, one could hear a eunuch shouting outside, "The formidable great general has arrived." Everyone's eyes looked towards the door. The ones who were at the front were Shen Zin and Shen Kaiyu. Shen Zin had a dragon's gait and firm tiger's steps, with his vigor and prestige that unknowingly overflowed out, and with the normal military valor, it made even the entire hall of married women frightened. Shen Kaiyu's posture was upright and straight, and with a warm smile, two shallow dimples appeared that made him look very cordial. Thus, all the young females could not help but blush. Both of them did not stay along at the front of the hall, and turned towards the main hall where the shocked males were at. Everyone's line of sight fell naturally behind them. Lu Zuyan wore a royal blue-tinged waist robe with her hair up in a neat knife bun. Different from the other Furens dressing, her overall look was extremely simple and relaxed, but because of the fabric's doing, she did not seem rough at all. With a change, her beauty had some heroism which was very much different from any ordinary Furen's beauty. Followed behind was a purple slim figure who leisurely approached,